The U.S. Arab Radio Network is the largest Arab and Muslim radio network in America, broadcasting throughout the Midwest region Monday through Friday on WNZK AM 690. U.S. Arab Radio features Arabic and English language programming on every topic, from health, food, and culture to government, politics, and legal issues. Listen live to U.S. Arab Radio in Michigan, Toledo, Ohio, and Windsor, Canada on WNZK AM 690. And in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia on WDMV 700 AM. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. So join us every day on the U.S. Arab Radio Network and check out our website at www.arabradio.us.
وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا في بث حي ومباشر عبر wnzk radio 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning, Michigan. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues.
Good morning and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem with US Arab Radio. Thank you for being with us. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. It is Ramadan, which started this week. It is the month of fast for Muslims. And to understand more about it, we have with us this morning is Imam Ibrahim Kazerooni. Good morning, Imam, and thank you for being with us.
Good morning, Haji Sham. It's a pleasure, and thank you for your invitation.
Absolutely. So what is Ramadan?
Good question. For those who are not familiar with the whole concept of Ramadan, Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. And since the Islamic calendar is primarily a lunar calendar rather than a solar calendar, and the lunar calendars are 12 days shorter than the solar calendar, the month of Ramadan does not stay fixed in a particular place. It is a very important month for the Muslims because of a number of factors that involved in this month. Number one, it's one of the foundation of what we call furu'ad-din for the Muslims, one of the foundation of their faith, an obligation that they have that to fast during this particular month, the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. Now, the issue of how important this month is something that I want to discuss. Sure. The month holds immense significance for the entire Muslim community around the world. And as one knows, within our own community, people are beginning to slowly prepare themselves for the coming of this unique month. The reason why this month is so important and it contains within it such a significant concept is, number one, is a month of that we consider it to be the month of revelation of the Holy Quran, which is the guidance for all human beings according to the text that we have. Considered also a blessed month with its hours, days, nights, and it is more important than other months during the year superior than other months, because it's a month for spiritual reflection and growth, primarily. The issue of abstinence from food and drink and few other issues, few other obligations that we have during this month is a way, the mean towards that spiritual growth, that we empty our stomach and we remain focused during the period of this month on submission to the command of God, submission to the command of God, and spirituality, self-centeredness, etc. It's also an opportunity to get closer to God, to Allah, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, and at the same time be forgiving towards the other members of the community that we have. So not just we ask Allah for forgiveness for our sins and shortcomings, we also become forgiving to the other members of the community, whether it is household or other members. It's a time for repentance. There are hadith and sayings from the Holy Prophet and other sages that wretched is the person that comes out of the month of Ramadan and month of fasting, and his sins or her sins are not forgiven. So we don't plead to Allah, we don't ask Allah for forgiveness our sins. How do we fast? Is one of the other questions. Muslims are required to fast and refrain from eating, drinking, and a number of other activities from dawn, which literally the moment just before sunrise, or at least breaking of the light of day, until sundown. Now, going back to the point that I raised at the beginning, that it is a lunar calendar rather than a solar calendar, and as the month of Ramadan moves along the Gregorian calendar by 12 days in each year, sometimes the month of Ramadan falls within, say, June, late June, July, and possibly early August, and which are the longest days of I'm sure
fasting.
I'm sure you've gone through them. I've
Absolutely.
gone through them. Yes.
Yeah.
And we do remember during the heat of the summer, and you have 19, 20 days or 20 hours of fasting to do. Yeah. But at the same time, it moves around, and as is happening this year, it's coming down to the beginning, to the middle of February, and then in a few years from now, it moves towards January, and then towards December, which are the shorter days and cold, and it's not as hot as it is. So
which is easier, basically.
Yes,
yeah.
Some people have a habit of the days that they miss during sickness or during the month of Ramadan due to sickness or whatever, or traveling, they recover these days during the shorter days.
They make them up, yes.
Make them up, yes.
Yeah.
And we spend the time during reflection, whether this is collectively as group, we go to mosque, we recite Quran. It is highly recommended during the nights of the month of Ramadan for one to sit down and recite du'as and chant a number of what we call dhikr and other things during this month, asking Allah, primarily asking Allah for forgiveness and asking Allah for mercy, asking Allah for grace, asking Allah for guiding them through life, etc., etc. So these are a few things that we are obligated to do during the month of Ramadan. Particularly, our obligation is to be mindful of the needy and the poor within our community. We have hadith from the Holy Prophet that says a huge reward for those who spend or share their iftar or their breaking of the fast with the needy and the poor and those who are unable to provide food for their families. So we either take these foods to them, or we can ask them to come and share our table, or organize in various centers, places where the needy and the poor are invited to come in, or in some other parts of the world. If you have seen these huge, pictures of huge lines in Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, that they put in big mosque where everybody comes to eat and break
communal dinners. Yes,
communal dinner. We also have in some other parts of the world where the poor and the needy are clearly established within the community, more wealthy and well off within the community. They organize iftar in boxes, and they take these iftar to the houses of the poor and the needy. So generally speaking, this is a unique month that we are obligated to focus less on material and more on the spiritual part of our life. And how do we get closer to God? What should we do? What about the sins that we have committed in the past? How we should ask God for forgiveness, etc., etc.
Is it designed to teach us discipline and strength?
Sure. The fact is, I'm glad that you mentioned this, that month of Ramadan, because of the way it is structured, one learns how to control one's ego, which is towards spirituality, but also how much one can eat, how much or we shouldn't eat. The daily life that we have, we get used to the idea of breakfast, snack, lunch, another snack, another evening. This kind of discipline, this kind of food are removed, and we discipline ourselves that it is possible not to be extravagant with the food and to control our life with the way we eat or we don't eat. The discipline, not only controlling our egos not to commit sin, but also things to do with our stomach, food, etc., etc. People do mention at the end of month of Ramadan that physically and not only just spiritually, physically, they feel better. They have gone through this month of cleansing. The system cleanses itself because we don't eat that much. And it is highly recommended at the beginning of the fast not to go for the kill, so to speak, but only to break little bit, break the fast with a little bit, say a few dates, milk or something, and then go and do your prayer. And then you can come back to eat something. By then, that huge appetite that existed before iftar is gone. So you only eat very little.
Yeah, hopefully, we can continue that discipline after Ramadan.
that is extremely critical point. That after Eid, when the Eid al-Fitr take place, it doesn't mean we should go back to the lifestyle that we started before month of Ramadan, but we should continue with that. Particularly the spirituality part of it. There is a hadith that says, كل يوم لا يعصى الله فيه فهو يوم عيد. Every day that Allah is not disobeyed is literally a day of celebration. So what we learn from month of Ramadan, as far as the spirituality and obedience of Allah and submitting to Allah, should continue after the month of Ramadan. Whether it does or not, that's a different story.
The story, it depends on what we learned from it.
Yes.
Science tells us that it takes 20 days to break a habit. Now, this gives us 30 days. Hopefully, we can break some, including myself.
Bad habits.
Some bad habits, and continue with at least till next Ramadan.
Yes, inshallah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
lose some weight and improve some of the physical ailment that we have due to hunger. And when you mentioned science science has proved also that hunger, fasting, is one of the best cure for a number of ailment that we suffer from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it's 3 days fast, whether it's 5 days fast or 10 days fast, we have other people may fast what they call it wet fast, which they can drink. Our fast is a dry fast, which we don't drink at all during the period of dawn to sunset. These days is around 12 hours, slightly more than 12 hours, because we have to stop around 6 o'clock and we break around 6:20, 6:30. So it's close to 12 hours.
How about those who can't fast?
Yes, the verse in the Holy Quran clearly establishes at least two criteria. Number one, those who are sick and are unable to fast. Within this group falls a number of people that you should look up in the what we call the jurisprudential book to see who are mothers that are nursing, people that are extremely sick and they cannot fast, etc., etc. And those who are traveling, elderly that they cannot fast because of their age, etc., or those who have, due to some kind of ailment, they have to constantly drink water. These are the ones that are exempt from fast, but then they are obligated after the month of Ramadan, if their condition improve where they can fast, then to recover and count the numbers that they have missed, and then they to do those numbers again. Yeah.
To make it up, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And before we go any further, Imam, I just want to take a short break for a commercial. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
When the aroma of Mahmoud Sela Basmati fills the air, you know it's going to be a good meal. Extra long pearly white grains that cook up fluffy, separate, and light. Never heavy, never sticky, just pure, fragrant perfection. It's the rice that feels as good as it tastes. Gentle on the stomach and full of energy. Elevate your everyday. Ask for Mahmoud Basmati at your supermarket and taste the difference.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Dana, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
After years of war, displacement, and loss, the silence left behind is the heaviest part. In Gaza, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen, families are trying to begin again. Their children aren't asking for the impossible, they're just asking for a chance. At this critical moment, education is more than a classroom, it's a lifeline. It restores dignity, heals trauma, and opens the door to a future that war tried to close. Life for Relief and Development stands by these families. We move beyond emergency aid to provide the stability of long-term education in conflict zones. This Ramadan, your gift, even $50 or $100, can change a child's story from a victim of war to a student of the future. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 800-827-3543. Life for Relief and Development. Together, we build beyond war.
Want to stay in the driver's seat of your health? My Mobile Health units remove barriers to getting prevention healthcare services. My Mobile Health brings free or low-cost services to local communities, so you can easily access health screenings, lab tests, vaccines, guidance, and more. We're paving the way to better health. See when and where we're rolling into your community at michigan.gov/mobilehealth. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. We're discussing Ramadan with Imam Kazerooni. We were talking about before we went on break about the things that what happen if you break the fast for various reasons, whether it's illness or sickness, illness or being old or traveling or any other issues. Now, when you make them up, do you make day per day, or is there you have to pay any tithe, or what is the
Technically, if you miss certain days during the month of Ramadan and you are doing them within the next year, I mean, within before the month of Ramadan that comes, then you do day for day. If you have missed 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, you would simply cover these 5 days and do them. But if you, for whatever reason, you don't do it within the allocated period that the jurisprudence has specified, which is from this month of Ramadan to just before the next Ramadan that comes, then there are some compensation, financial compensation that one has to pay for. When you exceed this limit and you go to the next year, you have to do the days, but you have to increase the compensation financially, and all of this has to be given to the poor and the needy within the community.
Absolutely. Now, as far as are there any special nights during the month of Ramadan?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. I said that this month is one of the factors that this month is such a critical and significant for the Muslim community is the month in which the Holy Quran was revealed. There is a debate between scholars as to which import. Technically, all of these nights, all of the nights of Ramadan are supposed to be critical and important for remembering Allah and reflection and worship and asking Allah for forgiveness, etc., etc. So all of this month, I said that the hours of this month, the days of this month, the night of this month, according to the verse in the Holy Quran, خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ, better than 1,000 months. But there are, consent, or at least for on few nights being more exceptional than the others, which are, some people say 17, but at least 19th, 21st, and 23rd. 23rd night is also called the night of the destiny, Laylat al-Qadr, because during this night, the affairs of the world is going to be dictated or sealed until next year. Now, what does that mean is that whatever we prepare, we stand before God, we ask for forgiveness, and we repent, etc. We ask Allah to change our destiny from that moment until next year. So the night of the destiny, 23rd at least is considered, but all 19th, 21st, 23rd, and also some Muslims consider 27th during the month of Ramadan as one of the Layad al-Qadr. But generally speaking, everyone agrees on the night of the 23rd being such a critical night. So people normally prepare themselves in advance until they get to that stage.
Sighting, to go back to the beginning, the sighting of the moon, how important is that? I mean, some rely on the calendar, some rely on sighting of the moon, and some rely on both. How important is that?
The verse in the Holy, because as I said that this is a lunar calendar, Islamic calendar is a lunar calendar. Every month begins by sighting of the moon. Quran clearly states, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ, that whoever sees the hilal, or the beginning of the month,
the crescent,
yes, then the crescent, they have to do the fasting. The debate between scholars is that should we only rely on the sighting of the moon or the crescent with our naked eye, or we can get assistance from binoculars or some other tools that would make
Instruments, yeah.
it easier, or instrument that makes it easier for us to see the moon. Others say no, we really don't need instruments. We can use calculation, astrological calculation, and say establish that the birth of the new moon will happen on such a date. Now, because people follow different scholars, they have to follow the opinion of the scholar as to exactly what they have in mind vis-a-vis the sighting of the crescent and the moon. More in United States, there are a number of cities, because they have clear skies as they get to the sighting of the moon, that most scholars rely on people going and sighting for the moon during these cities: Southern California, Southern Texas, Southern Florida, and some other places. Then if it becomes clear that everyone, the sighting has been, the crescent has been seen by people from different places, then it becomes some kind of a consensus for the beginning of the month. There is also a moonsighting.com that relies on the sighting of people around the world. And they have a prediction. This year they are saying that on the 17th, which is Tuesday, it's not possible the moon to be, or the crescent to be sighted. Wednesday the 18th, from India westward, they say it's possible to be sighted. So technically, our location, geographical location, Thursday will be the beginning of
Ramadan.
Will be the beginning of Ramadan, inshallah. And again, it will end by the sighting of the new moon for the following after, which is the month that comes after Ramadan. But this verse in the Holy Quran says that you have to sight. The scholar's opinion, whether it has to be sighted by naked eye, using instrument, or calculation, that's a different story.
Absolutely. So it doesn't matter when Ramadan starts. I think what matters is the results and what we learn from it. And now there seems to be some sense of community during the month of Ramadan, specifically in Muslim countries and in communities where there are a lot of Muslims there. People get together, and how important is that?
Well, Ramadan is primarily has what we call personal component and a social component. If we look at the sermon that the Holy Prophet delivered around the end of Sha'ban, telling people that the month of Ramadan was approaching, has both sections. On one section, the Holy Prophet encourages people to focus on the spirituality, soul searching, getting close to Allah on a personal level, and also reminds them of their social responsibilities. Islam does not substitute one for the sake of the other. We have to literally walk this tightrope where we balance between our spiritual part of it. And spiritual part of it by itself is not going to mean that much if the social part is absent. Then we talked very little discussion that we had regarding our responsibility to the poor and the needy. There is one hadith also that says one of the reasons for the fast is that for the wealthy and those who have God blessed them and given them food, at least to taste hunger, that under normal circumstances they are not going, and then realize what the poor and the needy going through day in,
are
day
experiencing
out.
Day to day in and day out. Yeah. The fact that they don't know what's going to happen that day. One thing I notice is that some people consume and use a lot of food and don't use some of the food they cook. What's your message for? I don't want to say waste, but I see people cook a lot. specifically during events. What's your message to those who do that?
Well, extravagance, afreet and ifrat, these are something that Islam has prohibited.
Yeah.
We have to be if we are mindful of our social responsibility. As we cook, we would think about people that at that particular time around the world, they don't have access to really anything. Palestinians in Gaza, in the camps and other places, people in various other parts of the world, that they really don't have access in Sudan and other, that they really don't have access to enough food on the table. So the idea that we can cook such a huge amount of food and then throw them out, most of them be thrown out, which is haram. It's not allowed. It's forbidden in Islam. So some cultures that they see for iftar, it has to be such an extravagant table that they don't know. They go through 5,000 calories and then they don't know what to do with the rest of it. That's certainly not allowed.
Exactly. Is there anything I haven't asked you that people need to know about Ramadan?
I just want to focus on Ramadan, despite the fact that it has what appears to be some social issues that people don't fast, and don't eat or drink or anything else, but it's the spiritual part of it that we have to pay attention to. And staying away from sinfulness, staying away from disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and obeying Allah, part of it. This hadith from the Holy Prophet that says, Amir al-Mu'mineen asks, what is the best thing? Al-wara'u an maharimillah, to stay away from everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden. Absolutely. The spiritual part is the one that we have to focus upon.
Absolutely. Imam Kazerooni, thank you so much for being with us. Happy Ramadan. And
please keep me in your prayers.
Thank you. We need your prayers as well.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. We're gonna take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
When the aroma of Mahmoud Sela Basmati fills the air, you know it's going to be a good meal. Extra long pearly white grains that cook up fluffy, separate, and light. Never heavy, never sticky, just pure, fragrant perfection. It's the rice that feels as good as it tastes, gentle on the stomach and full of energy. Elevate your everyday. Ask for Mahmoud Basmati at your supermarket and taste the difference.
A car accident can change your life in an instant. As a result of a car accident, you may become unemployed. As a result of a car accident, you may need a lot of medical treatment. People think that insurance companies are on their side. Why? Because they're giving them one or two benefits. Are they giving them all the benefits they deserve? How would one know unless you consult with an attorney? Call the law offices of Joumana Kirouz at 248-557-3645. 248-557-3645.
Arab Center Washington, D.C. was established in 2015 to serve as a Washington-based authoritative research center on the Arab world and U.S. policies in the region. My name is Khalil Hachem, and I'm the Executive Director of Arab Center, Washington, D.C.
I am Tamara Kharoub. I'm the Deputy Executive Director and Senior Fellow here. Our mission at Arab Center, Washington, D.C. has been to provide Arab perspectives to U.S. policy conversations and to highlight rights-centered approaches to policymaking as a way to serve the causes of human rights, democracy, just and peaceful resolution to conflict, and constructive long-term U.S. interest in the region.
Our work also addresses fundamental aspects of U.S.-Arab relations through timely and objective academic research, policy analysis, and educational exchange, reaching millions of people here in the United States and around the world.
Since our inception, we invested in producing reliable, evidence-based, and inclusive analysis on important issues shaping the Middle East and North Africa.
We would like to invite you personally to check out our publications and events at arabcenterdc.org.
And please follow our social media platforms for timely responses to news, events, and current affairs.
ArabCenterDC.org.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem with US Arab Radio. We are going to continue talking about Ramadan, but now from a medical point of view. With us this morning is Dr. Majd Kattan, who is a board-certified family medicine physician and residency clinic medical director with a focus on hands-on clinic care, medical education, and procedural medicine. He is known for advancing family medicine based dermatology and point of care ultrasound while serving underserved communities and training the next generation of physicians. Dr. Kattan, welcome and thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Mr. Hashim. I'm happy to be here.
And happy Ramadan as well.
Happy Ramadan to you too and all the people watching, inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, when we tell people we're fasting 12 hours, no food, no drinks, and everybody looks at us like, not even water? I said, no, not even water. You know, what are the benefits and is it safe?
So is it safe? Always depends who the person is. Number one thing in medicine, it's individualized risk that we look at. So is it safe? For the most vast majority of the population, yes, absolutely it is safe. There is a subset of people, we can say that you need to talk to your doctor and you need to discuss certain conditions. And I'll come back to those conditions. And to answer kind of your first question, like what is it all about? Is it beneficial? It absolutely is beneficial. And what it does is it puts us in a state, almost shocks our rhythm, our daily rhythm of metabolism, of whether it's metabolically, cognitively, behaviorally. It's a reintroduction, almost like a key reset to the body, in which we introduce kind of a stimulus that induces harmonization within the body.
You know, some people spend most of the day sleeping. Is that recommended? I mean,
no.
If we need to reset, we need to be active, right?
Yes, absolutely. So that's another thing. Kind of the circadian rhythm is actually very, very important. There's hormones, ghrelin, leptin. Those are hunger hormones. Those are there's neuropeptide Y. There's multiple hormones that are impacted by the circadian rhythm. And what that all goes into is if you are sleeping most of the time and you have a big iftar, which is breaking your fast, you are actually inducing those hormones at the wrong time. So you're actually doing yourself a disservice by doing that, because you're influencing. Now those feel-good hormones that are supposed to be induced by the fasting are going the opposite direction.
I mean, a little nap, you know, in the afternoon, is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. Always. A nap is always beneficial in the afternoon. And I take one myself, of course. After 12 o'clock, 10, 15 minutes, you wake up refreshed for the second part of the day, always.
Yeah. I love afternoon naps. It's like it makes me feel like I'm starting new, you know. When I worked at the in the newsroom, and you know, it was very tough schedule to follow, but by 2 o'clock I just took that 15-20 minutes and just rested, and then it was like a new day for me. As far as food, you know, some people, by the time it's break and fast, they either eat a lot and start feeling bad, or they eat very fast. Or what's the recommendation there?
So genuinely, the recommendation is you have to avoid two main things for your fast to be metabolically successful. You have to avoid super processed foods. You cannot, you know, indulge in pizza and burgers and super processed foods, breads and the such, and super sugary foods as well. So sugary drinks or a ton of fruit. You have to practice moderation with those things, especially during a long fast like this one, which ties back to those hormones again. Those hormones are very sensitive. And by that point, your insulin sensitivity would have increased. So what you will experience is a higher crash, because your insulin is so sensitive now that any small amount of sugar gets rapidly absorbed, and your pancreas is working double time. Now imagine flooding that with a bunch of sugar, which is followed by a bunch of insulin, and now you're in a comatose state, and that's why after iftar crashes are a thing. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's the best thing to break fast on?
I mean, there's different practices. There's Islamic practices, that we know of, breaking the fast on a kind of a controlled sugary substance, meaning dates. Why? Because it has immediate carbs and immediate sugar. But what's important is you break it with a few and you follow it by a balanced meal. You
Mm-hmm.
don't follow it with a sugary meal like we're saying. So breaking it with something, even some people might recommend a little bit of honey, actually, because it has long acting kind of fructose, and those are longer chain sugars, and those kind of work longer they release in a sustained manner. They don't immediately go up in terms of sugar.
Okay. Is water recommended? Like water, a little bit of warm water with a little bit of lemon.
Yes. I mean, of course, water is always recommended. Hydration is very important. But again, what you want to do is take sips. Do not take a bunch of gulps. What will happen is you will swallow a bunch of air. You're going to feel bloated, and your stomach is not going to be ready for that after a long day of fasting. So little sips of water, but always aim for at least 2 to 3 liters of water. That's always important between iftar, and which is the breaking of the fast, and imsak, which is the withholding of eating prior to starting the fast the next day.
The next day, absolutely, absolutely. And so it sounds like starting with savory food slowly is really the way to go.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, like I like to exercise. And I don't want to exercise during the day because I'm afraid I'm going to be thirsty. And is it better to exercise right before iftar, or you should exercise maybe an hour after iftar, an hour and a half after iftar, moderately exercise?
So moderation is key. If you're physically capable, and again, it goes back to those things, there's certain populations that we were going to revisit. Number one would be diabetics. Always, there's something to consider and something you have to discuss with your doctor. Number two, people with chronic kidney disease or any sort of history of transplants, either kidney, liver, or any sort of transplant. Always, especially if they're on immune therapy, we have to be careful. And then number three is pregnant women. So those are 3 people that always have to keep in mind that they may have special restrictions. Now and of course, number 5 is the geriatric population that really hold fasting near and dear to their heart, and then they have to make a individualized as well as medical decision on whether they should continue or not. If you're again not amongst those groups, then I would say, if you are going to exercise, the best time, if you're physically capable, is before iftar, and a small workout, very small. If you want to walk on the treadmill, this is the way to induce more fat oxidation to maximize your benefit of kind of the weight loss and the health metabolic aspect of it. A slight treadmill walk on the treadmill, very light weights. You don't want to be picking up anything heavy, just to get yourself moving, to keep your muscles strong, because obviously the protein intake has been decreased, the hydration has been decreased. You may not feel your best. And then the key point also is after iftar, what you do after iftar to again regulate those hunger hormones that might induce a crash or make you feel not as great. A nice brisk walk after iftar, 10-15 minutes outside if the weather permits, or inside if you have a treadmill or your walking pad, or even just some space in your house to walk. That will also help you with digestion and keeping those hormones kind of stable.
And this is with me every year is the balance between water and food. And I know my body, because I need to have my 3 liters of water, because I get kidney stones.
Yes.
So and then it's like it's too much water, and then the food start kind of feeling kind of funny. So it's really a balance between the two.
Well, I will say hydration is key. If I had to pick between the two, I would pick hydration over food. And as long as you have, at least also for the very, I guess, athletically minded or maybe health conscientious folks, if you count your calories during iftar and you maintain a certain amount, I think you're still okay. You know what I mean? If you count what your maintenance calories are for your body weight and your athletic build, so say that's 2,000 calories, you'll say, okay, I have a half a cup of rice here, some meat here, some of this, some of that, and I'm still around 1,500 for suhoor, or which is kind of the time the pre withholding meal before you hold your fast, I'll have 500 more calories and another liter of water. So you can kind of do it that way to maintain your calories, so that way you're not under eating or overeating, which is actually something to consider.
Yeah. How important is suhoor?
Suhoor is extremely important, whether it's in the medical sources or the Islamic sources or anything like that, because it really sets you up for the day. And again, what you want to aim for is those slow releasing carbs, honey, oats, those, the glycemic index is something to monitor for those. And what you want to do is you want to target the things like the oats and the honey, maybe like watermelon, things that slowly release sugar. That way you don't have that lunch crash.
Exactly. Ramadan is well known. They're like a series of sweets for Ramadan, and they're part of the tradition. So you recommend we have those sweets before we take the walk?
Well, that is a very good question, actually. You know what? It's okay to indulge, to enjoy it, but you will feel better if you have it than you take the walk, yes. Because otherwise, again, you're giving your system mixed signals. The basic path is to digest and rest, or you're up and active. If you're telling your system, I'm gonna walk and then I'm gonna come back and then I need to digest some more, you've given it two conflicting things. So it's good to have a little bit of balance to give your system direct signals, so that way you feel better.
It seems, and this is more psychological, that's the question. It seems that there are a lot of family activities, activities at the community activities and all of that. And what are the benefits of having or partaking of these activities?
Well, the studies show in general, I have not seen many psychology-based studies around Ramadan itself. It's more so religious activity, all around decreased mortality in general, and lower rates of depression, higher sense of self-worth, and adherence and kind of resilience. Those all kind of tied in within a religious aspect that also comes with fasting and coming together. Everything comes to a pause. Everybody's focused, has a common goal, a common thing, which is to fast together, maybe people to pray and, to continue the activities that are also associated with Ramadan.
Absolutely. Is there anything I haven't asked you that people need to know?
I think not necessarily anything you've asked. I think to take it as a month of well-being and to have organized goals. You should have, just for like any other part of your life, this should have a goal. And whatever you aim to get out of it, I think it should be something to note before it starts, and to track your progress along it, whether it's a health progress, because you will see health benefits, and you want to ask yourself, as a month of change, what change do I want to bring about from this month, and what do I want to continue after it's done? We'll see, like, for example, a lot of people, there's studies that show, and people will lose weight slightly. They want to continue some of these habits moving forward that I've done during Ramadan to lose weight. Some people's cholesterol will improve. Should I change my eating habits just as I've done in Ramadan to continue having better cholesterol? And so on and so forth. Do I want to see family more often, to have that sense of, do I want to see my community and serve in my, religious place of worship more often, because I feel good, I feel connected, I feel inspired, So do I want to continue those things on a daily basis? To have a goal and to set both religious and medical goals together, I think will optimize your Ramadan experience in general.
Absolutely. Setting goals is very important. And I found online there are quite a bit of calendars you can, on planners and all of that, and you can use, for me, and I say, okay, I'm going to read this much of the Quran. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. It's important that we follow that commitment, because, for most of us who are digitally inclined, it's always to have that reminder there. Don't forget to this, don't forget to that. So there are plenty of planners, for our listeners, there are plenty of planners online if you want to use that to remind you, and then be steadfast with the, with the recommendations. I really appreciate your taking the time to be with us and share this wonderful information with us, Dr. Majd Kattan. And happy Ramadan, and happy Ramadan to you and your family. And hopefully we'll talk to you after Ramadan and see how everything went.
Inshallah. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ramadan Mubarak to everybody. Not Eid yet. Eid
Not
Mubarak
yet,
to
not
all the
yet,
future
not yet.
listeners,
Yeah,
inshallah.
it doesn't come in. It doesn't come and go that fast. So
No, it
thank you
doesn't.
so much. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Tired of the complexities of immigration? Haunted by the threat of deportation? Struggling to reunite with your family? Have you ever dreamed of living and working legally in America but don't know where to start? L. Sharnobi and Associates Law Firm, a leader in immigration and naturalization law, offers you legal support across the United States. We specialize in asylum, deportation defense, green cards and citizenship, family reunification, all types of immigration visas. Don't wait any longer. Contact us today and let our expertise lead you toward a secure and stable future. To schedule a consultation, call us at 313-581-9666. That's 313-581-9666.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Naji Abood, 734-744-9796.
Life for Relief and Development has now been rated as one of the best charities for humanitarian aid. Life's humanitarian projects span the globe, and Life is celebrating its 30th anniversary of providing essential life-saving aid to people and communities in 36 countries, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. Where there is life, there is hope. And when disaster occurs here or around the world, including being one of the first responders to the Turkey-Syria earthquake crisis, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. We are looking to help the earthquake victims, and we take 0% overhead on emergency donations. So please help improve these efforts. Learn more about our involvement to help the helpless and bring hope where it's needed most, and make your tax-deductible donation to Life for Relief and Development now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493. That's 248-424-7493.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem with the mission with the US Arab Radio. I just would like to thank Dr. Kattan for being with us, and also Imam Kazerooni for being with us to help us understand and explain Ramadan to us. This is the month of fast for Muslims, and a large number of Muslims in our state and in the United States these days. And we want to wish you happy Ramadan and safe Ramadan as well. As Dr. Kattan mentioned, it's very important that you benefit from. Also, Imam Kazerooni, what he said is that you benefit spiritually and medically from this time. If you're observing Ramadan, a lot of people fast all day, and then when it's time to break fast, they just gorge themselves on all kind of food, and kind of defeats the purpose. Same thing spiritually. This is a good time to reset and your compass, reset your information, and then your focus, rather, or our focus. And hopefully we all have a safe Ramadan. I just wanted to give you more of an update on the housing market. As you all know, I work in real estate in addition to being on the radio, and the housing market is pretty good. Whether you're buying or selling, this is a really good time. As far as selling, you can still get a really good price for your home. Inventory is still low, and in several areas, competitive areas, if you put a house on the market, it just goes by so fast, and you can still get a really good price.
The interest rates have not gone down much. They're still between, a little bit above 6, which is in normal circumstances between 5 and 6 is pretty good. So if they go down a little bit more, that would help more buyers to really get into the market. And this is why buying now is good, even though the interest rate is high, because you can always refinance. Since the interest rate is a bit high, not as many buyers are on the market, and that allows you, the buyer, to bargain for the home, to negotiate. We can negotiate on your behalf, and you can get somewhat a decent home for your money. So if you qualify, this is really a good time to buy. If you need a home, you need a home, period. So it beats rental. Rental is, people complain about 7% and 6% in interest rate, but rental is 100%. Whatever you're paying, it's just going out of the window. You're paying somebody else's mortgage. You're not paying your own mortgage. You're not benefiting from the mortgage as far as that, when you file for taxes. And it's, there are a lot of benefits to owning your own home, and it is your own home. There's a lot of stability for being in your own home. You make it's a good investment. You put money into it, the value goes up, and it's really good for you. So if you need a home, you need a home. This is a really good time to buy. I also have a listing in Harper Woods. It's a 27,000 square foot building. It is leased to the Harper Woods School District. It generates about $22,000 in rent every month, triple net, which means you don't have to worry about anything except paying your own insurance, which is about $5,000 to $7,000, $10,000. The most is $10,000 a year. So if it generates $22,000 a month, that means you're bringing in $264,000 of income on this building a year. There is, the lease runs out on 2033, and then there's another 10-year option. So this makes it really an attractive investment. And I like to stop here when talking about investment. There are two different kinds of investment. There's investment to create cash flow, which is money now, and the investment for the long term. This building is a long-term investment. It's not to create you cash flow right now. But if you put a good sizable down payment on this, it will bring you cash, it will bring you extra cash. So it depends on how you finance it. It depends on how you, you set it up, and it depends on your finances as well. Each person is different, when it comes to financing. So if you have any questions, give me a call, 313-819-0101, 313-819-0101. I'll be more than happy to discuss it with you. If you're in the mood of building any commercial projects in the Ypsilanti area, we have about 9.4 acres for sale at a very good price along Michigan Avenue in Ypsilanti Township. And again, if this is really ready to go, you can build your project. If there's small part you have to clear, but the rest is open, and you can build your own project there, whether it is a hotel, shopping center, or anything else you want. 9.4 acre is a really good sizable piece of land there. So again, if you need information on that, you can give me a call, 313-819-0101. Or if you have any questions about whether this is a good time to buy or sell, we'd be more than happy to help you with that as well. If you have a lake home and you want to sell, I have a client looking for a lake home. And I also have a client looking for a small shop to buy and rent. So if you do have that in a good area, give me a call, 313-819-0101. I'll be more than happy to work with you as well. And if you have any other questions about real estate, give me a call. And at the same time, I just want to say thank you, happy Ramadan and safe Ramadan. And thank you, Mike, for good production. And then thank you, everyone, our team in particular. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye now.